one of the first things I do in training. And what does that tell you? That we're not all the same. That Australian culture can't be defined by one particular perception, right? So you think about Aboriginal people. People ask me, what is Aboriginal culture? I can't tell you. I can't tell you. You talk about Nyungas? Or you talking about Yamaji or Injibandi or Yaru? Who are you talking about? So the problem is that having to define our Aboriginality in 2015 is really hard because the word Aboriginal isn't even a word we use. Yeah? And this is why I always talk about the most important thing about my identity. I get to define it because I'm a Nyunga woman and I break all the taboos. I'm 31, I'm an entrepreneur, I work in Indigenous consultancy and I'm a woman, right? So there's a couple of barriers there for me, right? Oh, that was... Can clap that. We're easy. Don't tell everyone that, Brayden. You know, so I mean, for me, it's always been, for some reason, I never let any of these barriers, you know, make me not do what I want to do. I mean, and you know, I'm that classic example. I'm that young kid who had that traumatic, you know, life experience when I was young, and it sent me off the rails, and you know, that cliche story that you hear. And the place that I found myself was here, at Kulbardi. If it wasn't for Kulbardi coming into my life, I don't know where I would be, because at Kulbardi I got to meet amazing people like Auntie Brenda Hill up in the audience there, like Erin, a fellow student. You know, the amazing people that I got to meet who are Indigenous and non-Indigenous, yeah, that helped me get through my trauma, get through my hard time, but helped me get that piece of paper, yeah. But I also got to learn about my Nyunga culture, my Nyunga heritage. So I didn't have to choose black or white. And my whole life living in this country, it felt like I always had to. Are you Aboriginal or are you white? And what I realised, it was actually both of those things that made me the strong, very successful and damn hot woman that you see standing before you. So when we challenge the sacred, yeah, I do. I don't think that your Aboriginality is based on how much language you speak, and I don't necessarily think it's about how much you know about the cosmology, although, you know, those factors are very important for us as Aboriginal people to know about. But some of us may have not had that luxury, may have not had that connection to be able to speak language or to know all that stuff. But it doesn't make us any less Aboriginal, yeah. I think it's about head, heart and spirit, which is why I called my company what I did, Kart Koort Wiern. It's about what you feel, what you know, and what you connect to that make you who you are. And for me, you know, my dad's Nyunga, therefore I knew that I was a Nyunga woman. I had this connection to this spirituality and this culture, however it may be defined, but I also have my non-Indigenous roots. My mum's a white Russian. I'm a black Russian. How good's that? So, you know, I think too, as Aboriginal people, to be defined by our own stereotypes, which you so greatly point out is something that we should always be aware of, is that the stereotypes don't define us, we get to define us. And as the next generation of the young Aboriginal people out there, we too have adapted and evolved and changed. And we have very strong roots to our culture and our history. Of course we do, but how we express them and how we promote them, I guess, in this time, in this day and age, will be different to how our ancestors did before us. And I always think that it's very important, as long as we pay respects to that knowledge and that connection that we have and where we've come from, but also innovate as Aboriginal people of how we express that message and how we invite and inspire our non-Indigenous brothers and sisters to come along that journey with us. I think that's the best way to connect with culture and to promote culture. So I'll leave you with this. Mum and Dad, like I said, Mum's a white Russian and Dad's a Nyunga man. And back in the day, you know, non-Indigenous and Indigenous people weren't really allowed to cohabitate. However, their love for each other, their connection for each other, they defied all the odds. And it's clear proof when Indigenous and non-Indigenous people come together, they create beautiful things. So thank you very much. I'll pass it back to you.